I can't believe this bottle of wine has lasted me 3 separate videos. I'm gonna make it through this one! Hi BookTube, I am a Rebecca without my Sarah, yet again. I feel like I should do some Shakespeare. Honestly, couldn't think of a Shakespeare line right there. That's sad. I'm alone and had some wine, and I thought I'd do a Top 5 Wednesday. If you don't know, a Top 5 Wednesday is a Goodreads group run by Sam at Thoughts on Tomes, and I will link it all below so you can check out all the topics. Today's topic is Top 5 Forgettable Books. If you liked them, if you hated them, you just forgot them. This was interesting because I was going through all my read books on Goodreads, and there were legitimately a couple that I was like, what the fuck is this? And it wasn't even like a book I read decades ago. It was a book I read like a couple of years ago. Totally forgot it. It was gone. Forever gone. Forever gone. That book was totally... That didn't work. Maybe if I drink more, the singing will get better. So the first book I picked is The Distance Between Us by Casey West. I read this like last year. I gave it 4 stars. I actually ended up really liking it. My problem with Casey West books is that they all fucking kind of look the same. Like, the covers have nothing to do with what the book is about. It makes no sense. I don't understand. I actually saw this book recently, and I almost bought it, and then I didn't. And I was going through my Goodreads books, looking for Forgettable Books, and I was like, I fucking read The Distance Between Us. That was the rich boy book. Had no clue. So while I do enjoy, I've read 2 Casey West books. This one, and then, oh my god. P.S. I Like You. That one was a little more memorable. Then again, I read it like 2 weeks ago. Give it a couple of years. We'll see. I think Casey West can be really fun, and they are more enjoyable than a lot of other short, like, cute contemporaries I found. I tend to like her characters a lot more. They're more unique and fun, and her love interests are not the same. Stupid dude that's in every book that I just detest. The next book I picked is Fire and Flood by Victoria Scott. This and the sequel, Salt and Stone. I got this in the library last year. I gave the first one 3 stars and the second one 4 stars. They were fine. I feel like they were kind of fun at the time. I remember thinking, like, the second book didn't feel like the end, but there aren't any more. As far as details and, like, plot and stuff, I don't really remember. A lot of people seem to compare them to The Hunger Games, which I get, but at the same time it was very different from The Hunger Games. There were just some big striking similarities, but I have no idea. The next book I picked is Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. I read this book with my 2 international pen pals, Chloe and Beck. Chloe's from Italy and Beck is from Australia, and the 3 of us, like, exist in a chat together and just randomly pop up in all hours of the day and talk to each other. And we decided to read Half a King together, and I liked it at the time, I guess. I gave it 4 stars. I don't fucking remember it. I actually totally forgot that that book existed. I was watching someone's channel, just randomly, the book came up, and I was like, oh my god, I read that book. No recollection. I partially red wine. It partially could be because the rest of the series took place from, like, someone else's point of view, and I was like, I don't give a hoot. I kind of liked this kid. The Half-King. The Half-a-King. Let's follow him. No. The 4th book I picked is Some Kind of Fairy Tale by Graham Joyce. I read this for my science fiction fantasy book club that I was a part of in Los Angeles. I did not vote for this book. I, was pretty sure from the description I wasn't going to like it. I ended up giving it 3 stars, which was probably generous at the time. I legitimately did not remember this book at all. When I was going through Goodreads and I was like, Some Kind of Fairy Tale? What the hell is this? And then I looked it up and I saw it and I was like, oh right, this thing. I think the one thing that I remember being unique about this book was that it was a fantasy novel that dealt with a very small group and, like, a very small issue. A lot of fantasy novels are about, like, the kingdom and ugh. So that was neato. I think my problem was I think there were fairies involved, and I don't like the way fairies are often portrayed. And by that, I mean misogynistic sex fiends. But I remember not liking that, and then instantly, it was gone. Bye, book! I read you. Toodles. Last book I picked is Ask Me by Kimberly Pauley. I read this during a time when I was just trying to find young adult thrillers and horror books. Good ones. That was unsuccessful. Ask Me was another one that I actually just forgot existed until I found it on Goodreads. And then I had to read the description because I couldn't remember. The only thing I remember about Ask Me, because I read the description, is that it is about a girl who has to tell the truth whenever someone asks her a question. as I read the description, some things came back to me. I remember that the twist was the least surprising thing just in the history of the world. I was like, oh, gee whiz, boy howdy, I wonder what's gonna happen. Oh, it did. And it was just like so painfully obvious. So those are my top 5 forgettable books. Let me know what books you just kind of forgot about in the comments. Unless you can't, because you don't remember them. Okay, that was kind of fun. Maybe I'll do another top 5 Wednesday when I get a new bottle of wine, because this one's kind of gone. Oopsie. As Sarah would say, next time, BookTube.